I am aligned with my true self so that you're actually getting a true version of me, of who I am. And who am I? I am, dude, like simplistically, like I believe I'm a child of God. I believe that I'm here to love. I believe that I'm here to serve. I believe that I can feel peace in my life. I believe that it's okay to go through challenges and struggles. Yeah. My life is not defined by challenges and struggles, but I realize, oh, that's just part of this thing.
Hi, and welcome to the Flat Bill Investors Podcast. I'm Josh Siglowski.
And I'm Zach Spencer. Welcome. Hey, if you have ever thought about getting a truly unique piece of swag, something really, really nice, try out Drip Swag. They're great.
Hit the link below.
There you go. Hey, Josh, dude, today has been awesome already and is going to continue the awesome right now. We are blessed to have a friend I've known for a handful of years and family man, real estate guy, but also spends a lot of time helping create experiences for men. We're going to get into it. It's Bryan Hurd. Hurd, welcome.
Be heard. I'm here.
Be heard,
Bryan, thanks for being here.
You know what's so great? Every time before a podcast starts, there's like that moment where you're about ready to talk and you're like, okay, what's the opening line that I want to say?
What is it?
My mind goes blank every time.
I do that like almost every speech. I start like hyperventilating a little bit, whatever. It's the butterflies. And I've been in sports for so long and I've spoke for so long, but I still we always get that feeling.
And guess what I did here? I'll try it again real quick. We've got Bryan Hurd.
Yep.
Let me switch up the hat.
Yes.
There
Evolution
we go.
Project.
I feel so much more comfortable now. That was it. Subconsciously.
There we go. Now you know what to say.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. We're actually really, really excited to have you on. So quick history. Bryan and I met probably in 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah. So right in the thick of COVID.
Yeah.
If you believe in that type of thing. I'm just kidding.
It was real.
It was real. And we were talking, Josh still doesn't smell very well.
Yep. Still can't taste and smell.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I lost it for about 3-4 months. It came back, but like I used the comparison of like, drinking Coca-Cola or smelling a skunk. It is not the same that it used to be. So it's just a weird, different smell.
Yeah, crazy, huh? So anyway, that is a interesting other factoid. Sometimes Josh would be like,
just add that in there.
Today, what does that smell? We're like, what? He's like, I don't know.
I smell something weird today. Weird.
So anyway, during the thick of COVID and at a time when I was also at a point in my life where I was kind of like trying to figure out, I think it was like, I was 35? 36-ish. I'm 41 right now.
You're 41. So 5 years ago.
Kids are starting to get self-sufficient a little bit. Life's changing. And I'm trying to figure a few things out. And I was introduced to the Evolution Project. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was just through Joe Spirit or if it was Louis Hamner or you just reached out. I don't remember how that connection was made. Yeah. But we went and did like a men's weekend retreat up in Camas and it snowed like 2 feet on our way out. It's amazing. And that's how we met, but it was amazing. And actually some of those friendships that I made there, I still have today. So
you've talked about this event to me several times, that really you weren't lost, but there was something that you were trying to like find and you found it there. Cause I remember you talking about it.
It's a process. And that's, I think the Evolution Project, that the name stands out because you go, it is evolution. Like we are evolving as men, as entrepreneurs, as husbands, as fathers. Like oftentimes I'll even ask Harper sometimes. I'll be like, will you give me a little bit of grace? Like I've never been your dad at this age before. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah. And she'll go, yes, it's okay, Dad. But I'm like, I've never had a teenager before. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And we are evolving, so it was just really, really impactful for me. So anyway, happy to catch up again and talked last week. Again, we talked last week and had like a really, really meaningful conversation after not talking for a long time.
You mean like in person?
No, on the phone.
Oh, on the phone.
Yeah,
cool.
Just on the phone. Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, cool. Well, because I don't know you like Zach knows you. So why don't you kind of back up, maybe a few years even before that? Like what were you doing? What's your family look like? Yeah. And then let's look in the Evolution Project from there. Is that okay?
Yeah. Great. Totally. So my name's Bryan. My wife is Chandy. We have 4 boys. So I'm a father of boys. Which is
a lot of testosterone.
A lot of testosterone at the Hurd house. My boys are 20, 18, 16. And then we have a little 6-year-old. I live in Murray. I've sold real estate this is my 20th year of selling real estate.
So right when your oldest was born.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been a good life. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. It's complemented a lot of the natural abilities and talents and things that I possess, things that I'm passionate about. Evolution Project kind of became this thing where it's, a lot of the skill sets and things that I was learning, because I think business and entrepreneurship is a great place to self-discover. Mm-hmm. you know?
Yeah.
And
you mean like pressure test is another word for that?
well, yeah. And I mean, you're learning and you start to realize like, it's never actually the event that's happening. It's your reaction to the thing that's happening and your attachment to the expectation of what you think is supposed to happen. These are all the things that cause pain and strife in people's life.
For sure. I mean, I think I talked about it on, it was maybe it's just a reel on social media that I want my own son to understand rejection and failure because it's like what you said. Yeah. How are you going to react to that? Because it's going to happen. Yeah. And it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how are you going to react to it? You know what I mean?
What's your relationship with?
Yeah.
Or what's your relationship to? You know? And so business became a great platform. I ran a real estate team. I kind of viewed my real estate team as like, I'm actually just going to make it so they're super supported, right? And I am going to be like a coach to them and I'll be compensated when they sell houses. And that's basically how I ran my real estate team. And it worked out really great. Evolution Project kind of became this way that I could say, okay, I'm going to take the top off of real estate and I'm just going to go, if you're a man and you're probably 30 to 50 years old and you want to be in a more introspective conversation in nature, in a safe environment where you can really self-discover, you should come check it out. And turns out, you know, there's people that want to have this conversation, not just me, you know, this concept of like, what is privately universal? What are the things that we don't talk about that we all kind of know, but we just don't say it because we're worried about what people are going to think or the self-judgment, right? Like this is the stuff. But what happens is when you actually start to give voice to things, one, your awareness is going to raise on it. And two, you're going to be in a position where you can actually, you know, I don't want to say like change, but I believe that like awareness is its own momentum, you know? Like I'm either unconsciously going through my life or I'm consciously going through my life.
Yeah.
And they're two very different experiences.
Well, what do they say? Like even just acknowledgement is half the battle.
Totally.
Just like even saying, okay, here's a thing. You're already well on your way to figuring it out.
Well, that was that thing that you sent me, right? It was like before.
Oh, yeah.
It was like before a spiritual awakening, and it shows this kid on the ground. There's a boot on his face. It says after spiritual awakening. The kid's on the ground, but his hand is in the boot.
He's holding
his
on his own
on
hand.
his face.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's doing it to himself, and it's like that is the realization. Like you start to realize, like, wait, I am doing this to myself. You know, it's the Taylor Swift song. You know
Who?
You know who? You listen to Taylor Swift, dude.
Never heard of him.
See,
he's a teeny bopper.
Yeah, dude. It's me. That's me. It's me.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, to kind of back up before you started the Evolution Project, this is just another guest that, you know, he started something that he kind of realized he needed to kind of get more stuff out because he wasn't communicating as a male. And so he went and started his own group. It sounds like very similar, but probably different. He wanted to start it because he wasn't communicating himself. And he's like, hey, this is a good way for other males in this case to communicate. What was the kind of the main purpose behind it? Just to help others that were going through something, or were you going through something yourself?
Yeah. I mean, so this is actually a really good concept to bring up. It's like, have you heard of the concept of altruism?
No.
Sure. Yeah, but
basically the concept is like, ultimately you are always doing something to serve yourself. Right.
Okay.
So it's like, people will be like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I love to mow my neighbor's lawn. And it's like, well, why do you like to mow your lawn? Oh, because I like to serve my neighbor. And it's like, oh, so you like the feeling that you get when you do that.
It's not to serve them. You ultimately get the thing.
So it's really interesting. And the thing is if we're actually honest and we really start to unwind, like, why do I do what I do? Most of the time it's because we're seeking a feeling of what we get when we do that thing, right? Sure. We're not actually really approaching it from a place of like, what would fully present look like? Or what would it look like to like act from the purest place? Now, it's not bad. It's not like mowing your neighbor's lawn is bad, right? The reason that I bring this up is if everyone's honest with themselves, they're scratching the itch that they have, everybody. And oftentimes the people that are experts in a field or whatever, right? It's usually because they've gone through something that has led them to that place. Like, for example, I have a friend that helps men work through pornography addiction, right? Do you know he had a pornography addiction at one point?
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Math would math. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it would, and it makes more sense because what if he's like, flip the script, right? He's like, I've never looked at pornography, but I read a book on it. I'm going to walk everybody through the book.
Well, here's a funny thing about that is I didn't know this. So my little sister's an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic. I think she's got almost 10 years sober now, which is really an applaud to her and her cause.
Yeah, totally.
When she was first starting to get sober, I was like, well, I know just from like the world that in AA you have like a mentor or like an
accountability
sponsor.
That's a sponsor.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I be your sponsor? She's like, no.
Oh, it's gonna be someone that went through it.
You're not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't even I didn't put two and two together that you have to be a recovering alcoholic to be a sponsor.
Right.
I was just like, well, I don't drink. I can help you. Like I can, whatever. But you have to have like walk the walk to be able to talk the talk. Yeah.
So I think everybody at some level is like, for example, this podcast is called The Flat Bill Investor, right? I thought it was interesting because I said, well, do I really have a place on this podcast? And you're like, well, the best investment you make is in yourself. Mm-hmm. And I thought, all right, let's go, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
That's how we end every show.
Yeah.
But like, here's what's interesting, right? Like you're scratching an itch in doing this, right? Which is, it may be connection with other people, right? Mm-hmm. It might be feeling like you're putting a message out there to the world that's helping somebody that's going to change the trajectory. I'm not exactly sure, right? But what I know is we are purpose-driven individuals. We no longer are living in a state in the world because we've been so blessed with technology and all these things, right? I'm not going to a factory 8 hours a day and screwing in a bolt on a Ford Model T, right? Mm-hmm. Because we have surpassed that place in life, right? We've surpassed things where it's like, I'm not like, oh, I need to leave right now. I got to go kill a chicken and pluck it. I mean,
so that people do sometimes.
Actually, I got about 20 minutes and I got to go do that.
But what I'm saying
my
is,
little brother just got chicken.
These things though have given us as a human species space to self-discover, space to self-actualize, space to that like didn't exist 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm ultimately saying is like, I just have this deep belief that if like people are doing the things that light them up, like we're going to live in a better world because people are alive. Right. And then this whole concept of like your mess is your message. You can tell when you listen to somebody and they've been through something or they're going through something or they're speaking from a deep well.
Yeah, of course.
You're like sitting there going, oh, that guy knows what it's like. Mm-hmm. For the Evolution Project, for me, I was just like, what would it be like if I created a space where people could have these conversations, where we could go through some framework and people could start a conversation. I know if someone has started awareness, they are on their path. I know that most people know what they need to do, right? Josh, imagine if I came up to you and I said, all right, dude, here's the 37-point plan of how to get your life together. It worked for me. It should probably work for you. You should do that.
Yeah.
You might get value from it, but the reality is like, it may not fully hit because you're like, well, but you're not really taking the time to like hear where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right?
My experiences will be different and
Right. And so like this concept, it's like there's a dichotomy in everything. Mm-hmm. It's that which is most private is most universal. So the question is how can I live my life in an authentic way that when I show up, I am naturally connecting? And what happens is Zach, this is a great example. We don't really have like a long history of shared experiences together.
Sure.
But the truth is like, I view you as my friend. Mm-hmm. Like if you call, I'm picking up your phone call. I'm checking in on your life. I know things about you. Right?
Yeah.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so like, it doesn't have to be what people think it is. Right.
Yeah.
Like we can have connection in a lot of different ways.
It's funny because what comes to mind right now is I'm a parent of 4. And, when I talk to each one of my kids, it's a different leadership to them because how they kind of respond to different things that you're trying to teach them. Like, hey, my oldest is Gunnar. If I'm trying to teach Gunnar something, now I'm trying to teach Garen the exact same way. He might learn it differently. He might think it differently. Mm-hmm. He might add more to it, but we're all kind of different in that aspect.
Yeah. And that's exactly the point, I think, is that everybody is going to learn it differently and want to apply it differently. Yeah. But I think just, again, like you said, like the framework, like having, like even being aware of like trying to purposefully live and change versus just kind of like floating through life. I think that really resonates with me.
Totally.
Is that we are on a journey. And I told you at the Evolution Project, you gave us just a little copy paste, I don't know, a little page that had the hero's journey on it. Mm-hmm. And that to me, when you look at those steps, you go, okay, like this is a pretty circular, but it's cyclical. That like, you're not just from spring to winter in your life. This thing happens a lot as you go, as you change and things like that. So it's great.
Well, if you really think about it, you guys, like humans, we really are creatures of habit. We are creatures of pattern. You know, I remember I was reading this thing, you know, like they were talking about the 80-20 principle, and they're like, oh, it actually applies to a lot of things. And they were saying you spend, you know, 20% of the roads, you spend 80% of your time on.
Sure.
You know, like these things, it like kept going and kept going. It's like,
there's a lot in the 80-20 rule.
So many. Yeah.
And you start to realize like, wait, I'm a lot more predictable than I think I am. So then the question is how much awareness do I want to bring to my life so that when I'm in the moment where I'm about ready to say the thing, do the thing, you know, act in a certain way, I go, I'm actually going to be quiet right now. And I'm going to sit in this because I know what I'm about ready to say actually isn't coming from a place of truth. I am reacting. I am defensive, right? I did this yesterday.
You're like, it is a habit. Yeah.
But the awareness, it's like the lights on it. You know, I like to give the example, C.S. Lewis, like one of my favorite artists, authors. By the way, not my favorite book.
Okay.
But a good author.
Good author.
He gives this example and he calls it rats in the cellar. And he says, every day I'm trying to be this like good man, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then I quickly stumble, right? I get triggered, my patterns come up and I realize, man, I got so much further to go. And he says, it's like if there were rats in a sewer and I lifted off the sewer lid and I slowly lowered a light down. By the time the light got to the bottom, all the rats are gone because they saw the light. They had time to scurry their way. And I could go, no rats in my sewer, right? But if I open the sewer and I shine a flashlight at the bottom, it's all exposed. So the reality is we are most exposed to ourselves in the moment where we don't have any time to react, right? But Stephen R. Covey says that the time between stimulus and response is where we hold all our power. The question is how much awareness can I bring to my life so that when I'm triggered in my pattern, I can say, I know what I would do. No, I'm not going to do that. And what happens is as time goes on, the rats are eradicated.
Yeah. You're rewiring those habits and
it doesn't matter if you open the sewer and you shine the light immediately or you lower the light down. I have actually done the work enough in my life that like, it doesn't matter. I am aligned with my true self so that you're actually getting a true version of me, of who I am. And who am I? I am, dude, like simplistically, like I believe I'm a child of God. I believe that I'm here to love. I believe that I'm here to serve. I believe that I can feel peace in my life. I believe that it's okay to go through challenges and struggles. Yeah. My life is not defined by challenges and struggles, but I realize, oh, that's just part of this thing. And I'm learning how to go through this thing, and I'm human, and I'm 43, and this is the first time I've been a dad. This is the first time I've been a husband. You know, I'm trying to be a better friend and just give myself that grace so that I can show up in a way that, and I mean, this really is the evolution project, like what I'm talking to you about, right? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will go about directing your life and you will write it off as fate.
So how does someone find you to learn more about the Evolution Project or whatnot?
Yeah, website is myevolutionproject.com, myevolutionproject.com.
We'll throw a link.
Yeah, we'll throw that too.
Yeah, and I mean, my name is Bryan Hurd. I mean, I'm not hard to find on like social media and stuff. And we do the event twice a year. We've actually got a really cool one coming up at the end of July. We're going to go on a horseback trip in Wyoming. It's like one of the guys owns a big property, and we're
like the old city slickers, huh?
It's going to be like for real city slickers. I haven't thought about that movie for a long time. Just one thing.
I know.
We're going to learn our one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, normally we do it up at Camas. We do it twice a year. And I mean, it's really about embodiment. And so afterwards we have, a month where we do check-in calls, and then we just, have get-togethers and stuff. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's awesome. So thank you. I mean, honestly, this has been, I think every time we talk.
Yeah.
And again, it's not super often, but when I do, it's always gets my wheels turning. And I appreciate that about you a lot. Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go. Cheers to that. If there's going to be one, there you go. If there's one thing that somebody's listening that you hope that they like a golden nugget, one little thing that they take away from watching, what would that be?
There's a bunch of sayings that I say in the Evolution Project that's kind of like part of the doctrine of all of it, right? But one of the biggest things I really try to teach people is like where you start to get traction in your life is when you can find presence. So let me give you an example. Like I intentionally just slowed down my pace because I wanted to be present and be like, what would be the thing that I'd really want to share with people, you know, that are listening to this? Thank you. They've given 20 minutes of their life force to listen to us today, right? And what I would just challenge you is like, we as a society are so focused on serving and working and being a parent and all these things. We're giving, right? But it's like, what are we doing to check in with ourselves? And, you know, the reality is it's not like we can go to the health spa every day for 5 hours or, you know, do all this stuff. But you know what we can do? We can stop and we can take 5 deep breaths.
Yeah.
And reverence our life force in that moment and then go, okay, from this place, like, where do I want to, you know, choose to expend my life force? Because it's my life.
Yeah. And
I don't know how many breaths I got. I don't know how much time I got here, but it's like, when I give the presents, I will tell you this, my wife and I just bought a car. And the guy we ended up choosing to buy a car with, if I had to say what was the one thing about him, he was fully present with us. He made my wife feel important.
That's cool.
Yeah, he listened to her. And you know what she said? She said, I feel like we got to buy a car with this guy.
Yeah.
Now we did get the car we wanted and everything like that, but it's like, he was the most present.
Yeah.
He wasn't the best salesperson.
That's a great message. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I got some gold nuggets out of that. Yeah. That's great. So,
and I really want, and this is your invitation. Like, honestly, like, I know we're not supposed to like sell anything or anything, but I'm just telling you, like, people know you're always on to yourself. If you were like, dude, everything that they've talked about right now, it's like hitting for me, act. Like, people screw themselves up because they sit.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I don't care if you come to the Evolution Project, me personally, there's lots of these out there. I think the Evolution Project is fantastic. Right.
I would hope you would.
I very much do. It's very personal to me, but I would just tell you, like, you're onto yourself. Give yourself the grace and the space to act from that place and be like, yeah, I know who I am. I know what I need. Let's start walking down this path, and then it will unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this conversation has lit a fire for somebody who's listening. I know for me, like I said, always gets my wheels turning and appreciate. I think we could really go on for a long time. There's lots to talk about and lots of feelings to feel, but appreciate you being on today, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys,
Bryan.
Really enjoyed it.
Well, until next time, invest in your future.
Invest in yourself.
This is the Flat Bill Investors Podcast signing off.